Hey, welcome back. My name is Jayosa. As you can see, I'm an author, a speaker, a coach, and most important, a thirsty student because I like to learn. I want to talk about something that I experienced recently that may help you in if you're in a similar situation. And this is a little bit of a complicated topic, so I'll do the best to cover it in this video. If not, I may revisit this in a future videos. But it has to do with emotion versus logic, right? And we human beings have our brains are wired for emotion. We make decisions based on emotion. We don't really use logic, whether it's love, whether it's purchasing something, or even voting for a candidate. All of these are based on emotion. Emotion gets us to act. And in many cases, this is not a bad thing. But here's the problem with emotion. And this is what I experienced. If things go wrong, your emotion is not going to save the day for you. It's going to have to be logic and facts. So I'm going to give you an example of what happened to me recently and what I learned from it. So I got about several months ago, late summer, I was trying to get my car repaired that had problems. Uh, I took it to a mechanic. He kept it for a week, and he said, "Jay, this car cannot be fixed. Just take it back and just sell it, whatever you can get for it." I took it to a dealer, and dealer came back and identified number of problems because the car had a stability problem. I had a Lexus, an old Lexus, a 2007 RX 350, and it had stability problem. The car is like kind of like moving. It's not very stable when you're driving, and the car has the body's in great shape. So I was trying to save it because I wanted to give it to my nephew as he's going to be doing his residency in a hospital in New Jersey. So I was trying hard to save this car. So I said, as a last ditch effort, let me put an ad on Craigslist and see if there's a mechanic out there who's really good with this type of a problem. Uh, some people may say, well, that was a mistake, Jay. Again, this is a hindsight. In hindsight, everything looks 2020, right? So I put an ad in Craigslist. This one guy responded. I didn't reply. 3 days later, he contacted me and said, "Hey, have you got this problem solved? If not, I can come over and take a look at it." And at that point, I asked him, have you done this before? Do you have a garage? All kinds of questions. I said, look, I've gotten this car checked out, and right now I don't want to give it to a dealer because I had bad experience in the past. The mechanic that I go to has pretty much given up on this, saying that this is not even worth fixing, and even if he fixes it, he doesn't think it's gonna. Even if he does anything, he doesn't think it's gonna solve the problem. So I said, look, I'm kind of torn. I'm looking for somebody who really can isolate the problem. And I said, you don't even have to isolate. I'll tell you what the problem is. I need somebody out there who can fix it. So I'm actually giving this guy a lot of information, which is what you want to do. But as it turned out, all that information is kind of used against you. Okay, so he comes over to my office where I am, where I had the car park, and he has me turn the wheel, and he looks and says, "See this bar link? See that this part is moving?" He said, "That's not supposed to happen." And then he points out the control sway arm that controls where the car moves left or right. He said, "Look, that piece is also all rotted. You need to replace that." And I said, he said, if you fix that, and also the tires, if you fix all that, guarantee you your car is going to be fixed, and you won't have that problem." And I said, "Are you sure this is going to work?" He said, "Believe me, I do this all the time. Uh, I've done many of these. No big deal." So at this point, he's telling me what I want to hear. And this is one of the biggest traps you fall into. The information you're giving is going to be used against you. So immediately he kind of senses that I want this fixed. And since he's come over, he said, "Look, dealer's going to rip you off. I can't speak about your mechanic, but I can do this for a lot cheaper." And I said, "Really?" You see, he kind of convinced me that he knew what he was doing. So I said, why don't you come on over to my place and fix it? Okay, I'm gonna keep the story short. He fixed the bar link. He went and got the parts. He fixed the bar link. The next day or 2 days later, he came and fixed the control sway arm, and he also found out something was wrong with the brakes. And I said, well, afterwards, I said, the car is still 100%. He said, well, Jay, it's not going to be 100% until you replace the tire. And I said, do you know any place that can do it? He said, I know another place. I'll meet you there, and you can get your tires fixed. Okay, so that's the gist of what has happened here. Just kind of giving you a little bit of background. Then I don't hear from him, and I said, hey, when are we going to meet to get the rest of the work done? The tires, you said you know a place that can do this, give me a good deal and stuff. Okay, I kind of was getting kind of tired as he was not being very responsive. So I took it to my original mechanic, and I said, hey, by the way, you remember that problem? I just had some guy come in and he fixed it. And my mechanic was like surprised, like, fixed it? I said, let me see, what did he do? What did he do? So I said, well, why don't you come on or I'll show you. So again, I had turned the wheel so he could look at the part, and he looks at the bar link and the control sway arm, and he said, Jay, I don't know what this guy has done, but it doesn't seem like he's done anything. I said, what? He said, well, let's do this. Let's put the car up in my garage, and we'll take a closer look at it. So I put the car up, he raises the car, and he looks underneath it and said, Jay, I hate to tell you this. This guy that you said, I don't know what he did, but he didn't put any new parts in this car. I said, what are you talking about? He spent like the first day he came, he spent like close to 3 hours. The next day he spent more than close to 2 hours. So what was he doing? I said, Jay, I don't know what he was doing, but I can tell you right now, I worked on your car a lot. These parts that you're showing me, they're old, they're not new. And at that point I hit me. I said, oh, I see what he did. Basically what he did was he took the part out, the old part, and then he showed me the old part to the new part. And I mean, I'm not a mechanic, so I said, okay. And he showed, look, this old part is all moving around, it's not supposed to happen. Look how sturdy this new part is. So I'm saying, okay. But after I left, because I'm not going to watch him do the work. I mean, he's the mechanic. I got work to do. I was doing work from my home office. He put the old part back in there. He went and returned the new part. He got his money. So essentially, he committed a fraud. Okay. So at this point, I gave the guy, I said, look, I'll give you a last shot. Come clean. Refund me my money. No questions asked. And I won't go to the police. And he refused. So I had no choice but to file a police report. Okay, so that's where it stood. So yesterday, I went and gave a statement to the police. Now, here's the part that you got to remember. When you get caught up in emotion and you make a decision, that's fine. But when you go to the police, it's all facts. Emotion doesn't play into the statement at all. And luckily, I was able to recreate the entire thing right from the time I put an ad in the Craigslist to the point where I sent him the last text message in the parking lot of the police station saying, look, I'm going to give you a last chance. Otherwise, I'll have no choice but to report to the police since you ripped me off. And I can't be made fool of because I trusted you thinking that you were legitimate. But, this is just, I just can't accept this. This is just a fraud. I can't allow you to commit fraud to me. And if I let you go, then you're going to do it to other people. So here, I'm going to go and file a report. Now, one thing I want to tell you is the police in America are pretty good. They take their time, but they do work on your problem. Okay, whatever that, any kind of grievance you have or any kind of fraud that somebody's been perpetrated. So this happened, I would say, end of August or something, and now we're in November. So a lot of time has gone by, but yesterday I had to go to the police station, talk to the detective, and he asks you a question, and it's all factual. So, and I was pretty impressed, because after he wrote down everything and typed it in, and he showed me, it came out to 5 pages. And as I'm reading it, it was exactly, he said, I need to write this so that if I give it to somebody who doesn't know, they can understand the entire problem. So what I've described to you is a kind of summary. If you read the record, you would clearly know exactly what happened, and it's all factual. There's no emotion there at all. So one of the things you have to keep in mind is that emotion is fine, but you got to cover your bases. What if it isn't true? What if your emotion is lying to you? So you should always have a record of anything you're doing, whether it's a picture, whether it's a license plate, whether it's if you're giving money to somebody, take a selfie and show him and have the guy saying that this picture is the amount of money I'm giving you for this work. If he's not going to give you a receipt, the selfie is your proof. So at everything you do, have a proof. So you have the dates, you have the time, and now with the iPhone, you also have the picture. Now I took some of that. I had the picture of the, believe it or not, these people who came to do the work for me, I took the picture of them and they still ripped me off. And I had ample of proof, I had even where they got the parts and they returned it. I mean, this is as pretty much a slam dunk a case as you're going to get. But still, the police have to follow their process. They need details. They need factual information. And I learned a very valuable lesson that I wanted to pass on to you, that people out there are going to scam you. But they can only scam you if you let them scam you. So for every situation, whether they're real or not, assume the worst case scenario. What happens if what he's saying is just not true? You got to accumulate facts because you can't go to the police if there's not sufficient factual information, because you want to help them build a case. And if their case is stronger, then they're likely to bring justice. So always remember that emotions are good, but emotions can also get you into deep trouble. And especially this particular incident taught me a very valuable lesson, that when you get your emotions, always cover yourself and saying, you know what, let me take a selfie and almost pretend like, what if this thing isn't true? Do I have enough here to protect myself? Take a selfie with the person. And the two things you got to have is you got to have your facts straight, and you got to know what the people look like. Because at the end, police are going to ask you, is this the person? They'll give you pictures to show, and you better pick the right picture. So to close this out, whether it's in work, whether it's any kind of business you're dealing, have proof. Write it down in a diary, have a text message, get the number back and forth, get the picture of their license plate, have a record, compile it just in case you ever have to file a police report. Because if you don't have all these facts, then your cases are not going to be strong. You cannot get justice. So, as the Russian proverb, trust but verify, that's how you have to operate. Trust, but have all sorts of proof. If somebody says, look, I can't take credit card, I can only take, can't take a check, I only take a cash. Okay, here, let's take a picture of me giving you the money, and then send me that, thank you for giving me the money, this is how much I paid. Have all sorts of proof. If you don't document this, then you're weakening your case. And if the person has nothing to hide, why would he refuse? Why would he refuse to show you his license, driver's license? Why would he refuse to have his picture taken? Why would he refuse any of that stuff? Take a picture of the license plate, take a picture of everything. That's what I've learned from this experience, that you just cannot trust anybody. And emotion is a very dangerous thing. Emotion soften, makes you trust somebody more, and you loosen your guard. And when you do that, you are basically asking somebody to rip you off. Now, is this going to happen a lot? No. But there are a lot of people out there who will try to do this kind of stuff. And you got to protect yourself. And especially now with internet and all that, it's not that difficult to accumulate a lot of proof. And in my case, I wouldn't have known about this incident until unless I took it to the mechanic and who proved it, showed it to me, and I took pictures of it. I had all sorts of proof. So protect yourself. Protect yourself. Be careful when somebody comes in and tries to sound like something is too good to be true. You may have to do it, but then just in case, just ask yourself, well, but what if it doesn't work out? And I have to basically go to the police. Do I have enough proof here to build a case? Make sure you have a case to prove. And if you do that, then at least, first of all, never get into a situation like I did, but sometimes you have no choice. You will get into a situation. Just have enough proof so that person, you can bring him or her to justice so that he doesn't do it to anybody else. You got to do that. Okay? This is kind of long, but I wanted to share this with you because I was very impressed that I basically took this uh, person who came and ripped me off when I trusted him. I just couldn't let it go, because when you do that, you're almost saying to yourself that, hey, I'm a sucker, and this way the pain makes me much more resilient, that next time I will know what to do. So that's why I had to go through this entire thing to close it out. And now I think I've done as much as I possibly can. Now it's up to the police to file charges, bring this guy in, and I want to make sure that I close this out, because it's been a learning lesson and I wanted to share that with you. So thank you for watching. And again, my name is Jay Oza. I'm the author of this book, Winning Speech Moments, How to Achieve Your Objective with Anyone, Anytime, Anywhere. And I want to thank you for watching, and good luck. And I hope you do some of the things that I suggested. Have proof for anything you do. So in case somebody does something to you, you at least have that information. And maybe that person won't take advantage of you because they know that this guy has got too much information on me. Good luck.